What is up, everybody? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Make sure we're not dealing with any technical difficulties here. All right. Everyone can hear me? Beautiful. Let's get this tweeted out for all the folks on Twitter. I'm still waiting for my takeaways to be posted. They've been filed to my editor, and they should be up any minute now. So I will get those tweeted out when they're up. Let me send this link out. All right. Let's get to it, folks. The signature win of the Brandon Staley era so far. Obviously, not saying much. It's only been 3 games. However, the Chargers head to Arrowhead and win at Kansas City for the first time since 2018. They get their first win in an AFC opener since 2014. The Chargers are 2-1, heading into what is a monumental matchup with the Raiders next week, Monday Night Football, SoFi Stadium. 2 teams that are playing really good football, right? So, last week we did a little recap where I just went through my game notes and sort of did a recap of the game that way, and then we got into questions. Is that what we wanted to do this time, or do we want to jump into takeaways right away? You guys let me know. But before we get into that, everyone let me know what you're drinking. I hopped down to the hotel bar and picked myself up a single wide IPA that comes from Boulevard Brewing Company in Kansas City. And we got 2 of them. Ooh, all right. What do we got? A little Scotch, a little Sapporo, Oktoberfest, Pacifico, Buffalo Trace, horchata, and vodka. I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds delicious, though. And some coffee, some Blue Moon, some rum and Coke. A little Twisted Tea, Incline Cider, Bullet Bourbon, Japanese whiskey, Modelo, a little sake, Extra Anejo Tequila, love that, Casamigos, Smirnoff Ice, Red Bull Vodka. All right. Miller High Life, Appletini. There we go. All right. Sounds like everyone's celebrating that win. Okay, my takeaways just got posted, so I'm going to tweet those out, and then we can get going on whatever you guys want to do. Give me 1 second here. All right. Let me know what you guys want to do. Do you want to do a recap, or do you want to do just hop right into takeaways, and then we can do questions? You let me know. Let me know in the chat right now, and then we can make a decision. All right, getting a decent amount of recaps here. All right. Little mixed bag here. Some people want the recap. Some people want the takeaways. All right. Well, how about we'll do a little abbreviated recap. I'll just run through it real quick, and then we can get into my takeaways, and then we can do questions. All right? And hopefully we can get out of here so we can watch the end of this Sunday Night Football game. All right, so wins a toss, they defer. Chargers go 3-and-out there in their first drive. Chiefs take over. They're driving the ball. They get down into the red zone, and that's when Asante Samuel Jr. comes up with that interception. Patrick Mahomes steps up in the pocket, throws a little no-look pass over the middle to the tight end. He wasn't expecting it, gets tipped up. Asante Samuel Jr. comes down with the second interception in as many games. For some reason, he didn't return it. So the Chargers started from the 2 there. That drive stalls, and Ty Long shanks a punt 24 yards. Not a great start, right? Chiefs take over at the 50, and you're like, this has touchdown written all over it. And that's when the Chargers force their first fumble of the game. 2nd and 11. Mahomes hits Tyreek Hill on a crosser. Tavon Campbell, who played a hell of a game today in the slot, punches it out. Basically, the strategy and the philosophy behind that decision was they wanted speed in the slot today. I think part of it is that they wanted to get Derwin back to safety. But Chris Harris was out last week against Dallas. Derwin played almost the entire game in the slot. This week, they put Tavon Campbell in there. Fast player, runs in the 4.3s. They feel like, okay, this guy's going to be able to keep up with Tyreek Hill. He's going to be able to keep up with Mecole Hardman. That comes to fruition, and he shows up with a peanut punch. Classic Peanut Tillman, punch the ball out after receiver catches it. Chargers recover, and this is their first touchdown drive. Extends into the second quarter, and Herbert caps it off with a red zone touchdown to Keenan Allen with just a really, really fantastic throw on 2nd and goal from the 4. He pump fakes, gets the defender to jump up in the air, and then throws a little like jump pass to Keenan, who's wide open. Chargers take a 6-0 lead. Then comes the Chargers' second turnover of the game. And who is it? It's Tavon Campbell again. So 3rd and 3, Mahomes hits Kelsey over the middle. He beats Michael Davis, who's actually in coverage on Kelsey a decent amount today. And then they hand off to Edwards-Helaire. And once again, Tavon Campbell comes in with a physical tackle, forces a fumble. Chargers recover 2 turnovers in that first half already at this point. Chargers drive down the field. Tristan Vizcaino missed that extra point there on that first touchdown. But they drive down the field here. Some nice throws from Herbert. He hit a little RPO dig to Mike Williams, hit Mike Williams on a slant again. They started actually helping Storm Norton a decent amount. I thought it was interesting there. They had Trey Pipkins in as a 6th offensive lineman. He was in pass protection there on a Eckler catch. And they end up scoring a touchdown from 16 yards out. Chiefs blow coverage. Eckler's wide open. He runs it in. Chargers take a 14-0 lead. They hit Mike Williams in the slant in the 2-point conversion, and it's 14-0 with 7:36 left. They force a 3-and-out in the next possession. Drew Tranquil at this point is in the game for Kenneth Murray, and he sniffs out a screen on 2nd and 5. Then they bring the blitz on 3rd and 6, and Joey Bosa's lined up over the guard. He had tweaked his ankle, which the reason he was questionable for this game is because he has a sprained left ankle. He tweaked that early in this game. Stayed in the game. 3rd and 6, they bring the blitz. Joey wins against the guard, Trey Smith. Sack. Chiefs punt. And then on the following Chargers possession, you get a 4th and 4. Chargers go for it. They hit Keenan for a big gain, but it's an illegal shift, and that pops up again. That sets him back, and they're forced to punt. This is the end of half. We're inside 3 minutes now. Chiefs go on a field goal drive. At this point, Derwin was injured. He had the shoulder injury on the previous possession. So Mark Webb is in with the dime package. Mahomes is able to hit Travis Kelce. As soon as Mark Webb came in the game on that dime package, they throw to him on a deep route down the left sideline. Complete that. That's where they got the bulk of their yards on the drive. Jerry Tillery, though, stepped up at the end of this half, got a couple pressures. And that created a 3rd and 15. Alohi Gilman makes an outstanding tackle. The Chargers at that point were beat on the screen pass on 3rd and 15 with 31 seconds left. Alohi Gilman makes a great tackle. Butker connects from 34 yards. Chargers take a 14-3 lead into halftime. Now, I got the hiccups because I'm drinking beer. This field goal from the Chiefs starts a 17-point unanswered run for the Chiefs, and it looks like the game is turning at this point. Okay, they go. Let me pull this up. They go on a 10-play drive here that finishes with a 3-yard touchdown to Jordy Fortson off play action. That makes it 14-10. Chargers go 3 and out on the next possession. Next drive, 12-play touchdown drive that Clyde Edwards-Helaire punches in with a 10-yard screen pass touchdown. All of a sudden, the Chiefs are winning. And this right here was such a crucial point in the game, okay? The Chiefs are not going to sit pat for a game. They're not going to score 3 points in the game. They're going to put up points. They're going to make plays. Here they go on their run. They're up 17-14. And a lot of teams wilt in this situation, and the Chiefs take off. What happens here? The Chargers go on a touchdown drive of their own. And the key play in this drive, obviously, is the 4th and 4. And we can get into this later, right? But you have a 4th and 4 here. I'm trying to figure out what the yard line was that they were at. Let's look. Pull up the all right, so they face. It's the first play of the fourth quarter. All right. They got a 4th and 4 from the Chiefs' 28-yard line. At no point, so they went to break right for the end of the third quarter. At no point in time did Brandon Staley take his offense off the field. Now, the wind was a factor here, right? The wind was blowing 20 miles an hour. It was swirling. It was moving all over the place. It was cutting across the field. Kicking was just exceptionally difficult in this game. So you're at the KC 28. That's a 46-yard field goal. Now, maybe in a normal environment, Staley doesn't go for it here. But when you couple together the win factor with playing the Chiefs and needing to be aggressive in these situations, Staley puts his foot on the gas and he goes for it. The surprising part of this play is Jalen Guyton came wide open on a crosser from the left side of the formation. Justin didn't even look at him, though. He was going to Keenan. He throws a bullet in between 2 defenders, splits them, and they get a first down. Okay? 2 plays later, after Austin Eckler's dropped for a loss, Mike Williams, 20-yard touchdown. He was supposed to run a slant on the play, but he beat his cornerback, number 21, who I have my thing in here. Where is it? Mike Hughes. He beats Mike Hughes so badly off the line of scrimmage that instead of going on the slant, he gives a little stutter release. Hughes jumps to the inside to try and defend the slant. Mike Williams takes off down the sideline, throws his hand up. Justin Herbert somehow sees Williams throw his hand up, despite the fact that Chris Jones cooked Storm Norton at right tackle. He's flying off the edge. 300-pound man running at Justin Herbert. He fires a beautiful ball down the side of Mike Williams. Touchdown Chargers, 21-17. They stop the unanswered streak at 17, and they take a lead with 13:39 in the fourth quarter. Chiefs come back, and they go on another 12-play drive here. A lot of runs. Only 4 passes were completed on this touchdown drive. One of them was a jet sweep shovel pass, which is basically a run. So the Chargers went into this game saying, okay, we just want to limit explosive plays. We don't want to take the knockout punch. So we'll let you run it 5 times on the field. If you take 7 minutes to score a touchdown, that's a win in our books. That's what happens here. Chiefs take a 24-21 lead. Chargers drive down the field, and they get killed again on an illegal shift penalty. They run a play-action boot from the 1-yard line. Gabe Neighbors is wide open. Herbert hits him. Illegal shift. Again, Jared Cook never got set before moving. That sets him back. Herbert throws out of the end zone twice. Vizcaino, 24-yard field goal, ties it up at 24. This next possession was a key defensive possession. Chiefs have been running the ball really well all game, obviously. They hand off to Edwards-Helaire, and they finally come up with a solid run fit and hold him to a 2-yard gain. Derwin James is in coverage on Travis Kelce. On the next play on a 2nd and 8, and Mahomes misfires there. Tight coverage from Derwin. 3rd and 8, Mahomes gets outside the pocket and chucks it up down the field to Travis Kelce overthrows him. Who's there? Alohi Gilman, interception. Chargers take over, 1:42 left. And then, of course, we get the 4th and 9. So what happens here? Chargers drive down the field. They hit Jared Cook. Austin Eckler has a nice run. I'm sorry, Jared Cook has a drop. They have a nice Austin Eckler run. And then the 3rd and 2, key play in this drive. Herbert hits Keenan Allen on a slant, just a beautiful ball. Keenan kind of angles his route up the field so he can run after the catch. Great play. Mike Williams then has 2 straight drops on 2nd and 4 and 3rd and 4. And that's when the 4th and 4 comes up, right? So initially, Staley sends the field goal unit out there, right? Winds are swirling. It's a 49-yard attempt for Vizcaino. Calls a timeout, changes his mind, sends the offense onto the field. At this point, there's under a minute left, okay? Rashawn Slater at that point gets called for a false start. He jumps before the snap. They get set back 5 yards. Makes it a 54-yard attempt, okay? The wind, I'm telling you, was vicious out there. It was brutal. And so at that point, how many coaches in the NFL are going to punt that ball away? A lot. Brandon Staley did not. 4th and 9, puts his offense on the field. Jalen Guyton runs a comeback route. Pass interference. Defenders all over him, grabbing him, holding him. Herbert throws his direction. It was a great throw, and Guyton probably should have caught it. Doesn't matter. Pass interference. Chargers 1st down. Next play, 1st and 10. Mike Williams has single coverage on the left side. Herbert throws a lofted fade ball to him. Easy completion. Williams almost scores. 1st and goal from the 4. Chargers have a run play called. There's 36 seconds left at this point. Chargers have a run play called, but if you read me and you read my mailbags on Friday, I wrote all about how the Chargers have these RPO concepts they call them advantage looks, where they have a run called at the line of scrimmage. And Herbert has the ability to check out the coverage. And if he sees one-on-one, primarily with Mike Williams, he can take a quick 1 or 2 step drop and fire to Mike Williams. It could be a slant, could be a bubble, could be a fade. It happened on the 12-yard touchdown against the Cowboys. Saw Williams one-on-one, saw the cornerback playing off coverage, threw a smoke route out to him, they call it, which is basically just a quick, straight along the line of scrimmage, a little bubble route. And Williams took that for a touchdown. Happens again here. Sees Williams one-on-one, fade ball, touchdown, 30-24 with 32 seconds left. This guy I know misses the extra point. I'm not putting a lot of stock in the missed kicks today. It was vicious out there, the wind. So very tough environment to kick in. And Mahomes takes over. Chargers are in a zone defense, prevent defense, and Hail Mary falls incomplete. Chargers win 30-24, and just a huge victory. Just a huge, huge victory. So there you have it. There's the quick recap, okay? Let's get into the takeaways, okay? Number 1, aggressive coaching decisions. Anyone who has followed me since last season, since that Chiefs games last season, knows how I feel about playing the Chiefs. You have to be aggressive. You have to be way more aggressive than you would be in a normal game because that team scores at a ridiculous clip. And you have to play aggressively so that you can maintain possession, keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, and convert those possessions into touchdowns. And that means making 4th down decisions that you might not otherwise make it. I believe in being an aggressive 4th down team overall, especially when you have the offensive talent that the Chargers have, especially after they've improved this offensive line. But against the Chiefs, it has to be elevated. It has to be. And so that's why Anthony Lynn punting on 4th and 1 last year in overtime was just unforgivable. That was playing not to lose against the Chiefs. And you are going to lose that game every time against this offense. Okay? And what a full circle this is now. What a difference a year makes. You go from week 2 against the Chiefs last year, punting the ball on 4th and 1 from your own 34 and effectively punting the game away, to coming out in this game and you go for it twice on 4th down in the 4th quarter. Both of those decisions lead to touchdowns. That is absolutely paramount. Absolutely paramount. And here's the big takeaway from those decisions, right? Brandon Staley talked all spring and summer, right, about how he wants to be aggressive, about how he's a forward-thinking coach, about how he wants to lean into analytics, right? But those were just words. And I always held the caveat that, listen, this is all great in a press conference, but when you are in live action, when you're in a meaningful, actual regular season, postseason football game, are you going to make the decisions that you said you were going to make in the press conference? It's easy to go into a press conference and say that you're this type of coach. It's a lot harder to go into a real game and make those decisions in crucial moments. And that's exactly what Brandon Staley did. These are not just words. This is who he is as a coach. He is going to be aggressive. He is going to be forward thinking, and he is going to put the ball in his best players' hands, which is something that was so frustrating last year watching Anthony Lynn, because you saw the talent that Justin Herbert had. And yeah, did he have a lot of room to grow? Did he have a lot of developing to do in terms of understanding what opposing defenses were doing to him? Was the coaching staff doing a lot to elevate his play? Absolutely. But they weren't leaning into this talent. They weren't putting the ball in their best players' hands. They were punting on 4th and 1 from their own 34. That's what was happening over and over and over again with this team, with Anthony Lynn. It's completely different now. Brandon Staley recognizes what he has in Justin Herbert. And he's saying, listen, if we're going to lose, we're going to lose with our best guys. We are going to lose with the ball in Justin Herbert's hand, because if he can't make a play on 4th down, then I'll live with it. I will live with it. But at least we went down fighting. At least we went down playing to win the game. Right? And that's what happened here. Kudos to Staley for making those decisions, because it was the difference in this game, 100%. All right. Second takeaway. The defense played a hell of a game. And I know some of you are, talking about the run defense, and I get it. Right? I get it. It wasn't pretty. But here's the deal, right? You got to pick and choose your battles when you play the Chiefs, right? You're not going to go out and pitch a perfect game defensively against the Chiefs. Like, they're going to score points. They score on everybody. Doesn't matter how good your defense is. It doesn't matter how talented it are. It doesn't matter if you have the best defensive schemer in the league, which the Chargers might have. They're going to score. They just have too much talent. Patrick Mahomes is too good. So you have to pick your battles, all right? And here's what Brandon Staley said going into this game. Here's what we want to do. Limit explosive plays. Keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket. Prevent him from scrambling, okay? Prevent him from making off-structure plays that lead to massive completions and explosive plays, right? In that same vein, force Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense to drive the ball down the field methodically. Make them use up time. This is what I was getting at earlier. And number 4 was take the ball away. Force turnovers. They did all of that. So a lot of this is in my takeaways I just posted, but let's go through this, okay? Chiefs only had 2 passing plays of more than 20 yards. Both of them went to Kelsey. One was for 23 and one was for 28. But both of them came in the structure of the play. Patrick Mahomes did not have any explosive passes down the field in off-platform situations. That is a massive achievement, okay? Secondly, he had 45 scramble yards, but 21 of those scramble yards, right, came on that final drive when they were in prevent defense, and you're willing to give up a scramble as long as he's not beating you over the top. So it's really 24 scramble yards in the game. That is an achievement, okay? Let's keep going. Chiefs had 3 touchdown drives. They needed double-digit plays on all 3. 12 plays, 10 plays, 12 plays. They averaged 5 minutes and 40 seconds on their touchdown drives, okay? So they're going to score points, but if you can force them to score points over an extended period of time and force them to drive the ball methodically down the field, matriculate the ball down the field, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. Now, at the same time, you win the turnover battle 4-0, you should probably be winning the game by a bigger margin. And the reason they didn't is because they didn't defend the run that well. But Staley said, I can live with that versus that team. 141 yards rushing on 26 carries. It's a 5.4 yards per carry clip. It did not kill them today. Now, is it a concern for me? Yes. I think down the road they might lose a game against the Browns, against the Ravens, because they can't stop the run. It's not good right now, but this was the strategy. This was the approach. This was the formula to win for them defensively, And it worked. And primarily it worked because they forced 4 turnovers. We talked about Tavon Campbell already, played the game of his life. The 2 forced fumbles in the first half were absolutely crucial. Asante Samuel Jr. is a legitimately good corner, period. And I haven't seen the type of rookie growing pains that I expected. Now, it's early, lots of football left. There will be growing pains, but he's a ball hawk and he makes plays. That catch was ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. And then Alohi Gilman, right? Like here, I think this is a really good indication of the level of coaching that you're getting from the Chargers now, right? Alohi Gilman was a non-factor last year on defense, on special teams. All of a sudden he comes in, he's a legitimately good rotational player, rotational safety, making big plays in this game. I talked about the screen where he made the tackle on, and he comes up with the interception that sets up the game-winning drive. 20 of the Chargers' 30 points came off turnovers. So are there some concerns with the run defense? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, the Chargers had a defensive game plan heading into this game, and they executed it more or less perfectly. Plain and simple. All right. Mike Williams is playing like one of the best receivers in football, period. Like, I don't even need to couch that with anything. This guy is playing out of his mind right now. And he just played the game of his life. 7 catches, 122 yards. Both of his touchdowns came in the fourth quarter. I already talked about sort of the specifics of the plays, how they unfolded. His chemistry with Justin Herbert is developing. So Mike Williams stats for you. He's second in the league in receiving yards with 295, behind only Brandon Cooks, who is just getting spammed the ball over there in Houston. Mike Williams is tied for third in the league in catches with 22. Okay. And he is tied for the league lead in receiving touchdowns. Again, we talk about the level of coaching that the Chargers are getting now on both sides of the ball. Mike Williams was an underachiever for his first 4 seasons in the league. That's just a reality. Now, some of it was injuries, absolutely, but some of it was usage. This guy is now a focal point of the offense. Like, they are trying to get him the football in all 3 levels of the field. And he is doing what everyone expected and hoped that he would do within the Chargers organization when they drafted him 7th overall. Like, this is the dude that they thought they were drafting. Now, how much has Mike Williams improved from last year to this year? I don't know. He's certainly healthier than he's been at any point, and he's certainly being used in the absolute correct way by this organization and by Brandon Staley and by Joe Lombardi. He is on pace for a massive season. He is in a contract year and will command a lot of money on the open market if he keeps playing like this. Now, what happens after this season? I don't know. They're not going to extend him during the season. The Chargers don't do that. It's a rule that they don't give out extensions after Labor Day. That's just how they run the organization, how Tom Telesco runs things. But if he keeps playing like this, you got to think long and hard about whether, you want to let him walk. Because a big reason why the Chargers are playing the way they're playing is because Mike Williams is an absolute stud. Absolute stud. It's 3 games. But the way they're using him, if he stays healthy, he's going to have a massive season. I mean, a massive, massive, massive season. And he's already on pace for that right now. Okay. Finally, we need to talk about something, guys. We need to talk. Justin Herbert is regressing. He's regressing, guys. The sophomore slump. It's in full swing. How do we feel about it? How do we feel about Justin Herbert taking a massive step back? Disaster, right? Every quarterback enters their second year and takes a step back. Oh, man, more interceptions than touchdowns. What's going on? I'm going on radio and everyone's saying, oh, God, what's going on with Justin Herbert? It's really a shame. The regression monster has come. All right, that's enough of the bit. This guy's so good. Are you kidding me? Wow. Holy crap. What a game. What a game. He played a perfect game. Good Lord. 26 of 38 passing, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, all of them on red zone drives. He was under pressure, evading pressure, making really smart decisions. I mean, you guys couldn't see this on the TV copy, but they were trying to push the ball downfield. They were trying to hit Jalen Guyton on the classic play action, max protect shot plays that you guys have been asking for. And they had some opportunities. There were some times where, Guyton was running down the middle of the field. He was covered, but maybe in a different scenario, you throw it up and see what happens. But you're playing the Chiefs. And Justin Herbert understood that protecting the football was really key in this game. You want to be aggressive offensively. You want to score touchdowns, but turning the ball over against the Chiefs is a death sentence. So what does he do? He goes out there. He doesn't turn the ball over at all. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions or fumbles, 281 yards, and leads them on a game-winning drive. So I was telling you guys all along, right? The film shows that this guy is playing at an elite level. You go watch the tape, and he is making ridiculous plays. Snap to snap to snap to snap to snap. It was only a matter of time before the stats matched up with the film. The sample size grows, this calibrates, right? And all of a sudden, the stats match up with the film. And so what do we have now? 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and it's only going to get better. And like I said, there was some fluky stuff going on here. I mean, they had the sack fumble against Washington. That wasn't really a sack fumble. Keenan falls down on the interception against the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs makes an absolutely ridiculous interception on that first one against Dallas. So it's a long season. As the sample size grows, the talent shows up, and that leads to the statistics. And so, anyone talking about Justin Herbert's regression can throw away the key. Thank you. All right. Couple quick hitters here. We talked about Devon Campbell. Drew Tranquill played his most defensive snaps this season, played really well. There's now a 3-man rotation there. Kenneth Murray basically got benched for Drew Tranquill in the second quarter. He came back out for the second half. But honestly, I think if Drew Tranquill had more wind and had, was in more of a game shape, he hasn't played that much the first 2 games of the year, I think he would have played exclusively over Kenneth Murray. We'll see how that shakes out. But right now, Drew Tranquill is a more sound player than Kenneth Murray. Against the pass, against the run, he makes more plays. He's not the athlete that Kenneth Murray is. He doesn't have the potential that Kenneth Murray is, but he's a better football player right now. Joey Bosa gutted out that ankle injury and came through with that sack, like I mentioned. Really impressive. Derwin James is fine with the shoulder. He said that he'll be out there. We'll see what happens in practice this week, but it does not seem like a concerning thing. Justin Herbert's hand, he on a pass, like hit it on a defender, stayed in the game. And when we saw him afterwards, he was in great spirits and didn't have anything on his hand. I know James Palmer of NFL Network reported that he left with some ice on his hand. I don't see it as being an issue, but we'll talk to Staley tomorrow and get more info on that. The illegal shifts are like kind of concerning. Like they won, so we're not going to harp on it, but they had a 4th and 4 to Allen, like I said earlier in the recap, in the second quarter that got called back because of an illegal shift. And then they had a touchdown to Gabe Neighbors, like I said, that got called back for an illegal shift. Like there's a lot of motion in this offense, a lot of moving parts. That's what Lombardi wants to do. It's what Staley wants to do. He thinks motion gives them a competitive advantage, which I think is fair. But that's going to lead to some of these penalties. I think as the group plays together more, you're going to see these penalties get eradicated. But I think some of it does fall on Justin. Now, we just did the whole Justin praise section, but he gets in those situations and there's time on the play clock and he's rushing. And I think that part of it is he had to Bosa had 9 pressures. Damn. 9. I thought he was going to be like 5 or 6 based on what I saw live, but damn, that's wild. So I think what happens is in some of those situations, like Justin Herbert as the general of the offense, as the operator, he needs to see that, okay, we haven't gotten set yet. Let me just take a second before snapping the ball. when he has time on the play clock. Now, if the play clock's winding down, that's one thing. But in a lot of these situations, he has enough time on the play clock to just calm it down. And I know you're trying to get the advantage with the motion so that, you can gain leverage on a defender, but it's more important in that situation to avoid the penalty. So that's the only knock I have on Justin. And I'm going to ask Staley about it tomorrow to get more detail on it, but that's just what I saw live. And then, like I said, don't get on Tristan Vizcaino too much yet. All right? Like, those were brutal conditions, like really brutal conditions. And he's a young player, and there are going to be some growing pains here with him. And, third game of the season, third game of what is effectively his rookie year. And he was kicking in just brutal conditions. So I don't put a lot of stock into it. You can take that for what it's worth. All right. That's what I got for you. So give me some questions on stuff that I addressed, that I didn't address. We're starting beer number 2. Questions. How about Tillery today? Struggled. Kind of a similar game to how he played against Cowboys. Like, he's still struggling against the run. He's still struggling to be stout in that area. But pass rushing wise, I thought he was excellent. He had a number of pressures, especially on that end of half drive for the Chiefs. So I need more out of him from a run defense perspective. But some of that will get taken off his shoulders when Justin Jones comes back. But right now, he is an adequate pass rusher. He's giving you some juice in that area, but he's a liability against the run. Okay. What'd you think about Adderley? I thought he played really well again. That's actually a decent idea for a film review this week. Maybe I'll do that. Because I wanted to focus it on how the Chargers limited the explosive plays, and I think Adderley had a big part in that, just based on what I saw and what Staley said after the game. Yeah, but Nas is playing real physical. Like we talked before the season about how he's going to be allowed to be more aggressive in this scheme, and you're seeing that kind of come to fruition. Like, he is getting after people. Like, he laid a lick on somebody. Yeah. 2nd and goal from the 10. And the first drive of the third quarter, they did a little delayed handoff to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Nas just effed him up. Like, he came down from the 2 deep shell and just annihilated him. So yeah, you're seeing him grow. You're seeing him develop, and that's like, I know there was a lot of backlash from my Jerry Tillery film review, and how I highlighted some positives, but like, young players can take that step at any point. And to label guys that are still very early in their careers as finished products is just not fair. You can do whatever you want, but it's not fair and it's not realistic. So a player like Nas Adderley changes to a new scheme. How he's playing in week 1 isn't necessarily how he's going to be playing in week 2 or 3, or how he's going to be playing in week 16 or 17, as he gets more comfortable in the scheme, as the Chargers figure out what they are as a defense and figure out how to solve their own problems, right? So just be patient with young players, guys. And I understand that you're fans and you want the most from the guys that play for your team, and you have high standards, and you should have high standards. But part of the NFL is developing talent, and you don't know when they're going to take that step and when they're going to take that jump. And part of it is how comfortable you are in the scheme, and it's still really early on here. But Nas Adderley is showing really encouraging steps toward being the type of safety that they thought he could be when they drafted him in the 2nd round last year. Damn. I feel like my takes are fire today. Anyone agree? Romy says, okay, Pop, you were calling Tillery trash last week. Yeah, he hasn't been good enough. He hasn't played like a first-round pick. I've said all of those things. But at the same time, you can understand that there is a possibility, right, that he gets better as the season goes along. He's not good enough right now. He's been bad. It looks like a reach from Tom Telesco. That can be true. But it also can be true that there is a window of opportunity for him to improve as he gets more comfortable in the scheme. Those are not mutually exclusive, right? Both can be true. I'm just saying that you can have really high standards and say this guy isn't playing well enough, but calling him a finished product right now is not fair. That's what I'm saying. Uh-oh. My guy Veiled Lightning Veiled on Twitter is telling me I got a typo. He's like my proofreader. He DMs me typos all the time. All right. Romy says, that's fair, Pop. Thanks for reading my comment. Love your stuff, Romy. Thanks for being a part of the stream, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad that we can have some, intelligent, nuanced discourse on here. That's important. Oh, man. I said gustiest instead of gutsiest. That's not correct. Although it was gusty out there today. All right. Who's got questions? What's this game at right now? I got the TV up here. I gotta check the score here. A lot of replays, huh? Oh, man. Close game. All right. I will do one more question, and then we're going to hop out here so everyone can watch the end of the Sunday night game. One more question. Come on, give me a good one here. Oh, great question. My guy, Dan, I always botch your name, buddy. I'm sorry. Dan Thibault? I think it's Thibault, right? Thibault, like Thibault. Yeah, that's what you said last time. Dan Thibault. All right. He says, at what percentage would you say our offense is running? Feels like if we correct a few things, we could be top 5. Yeah, I totally agree with that point. Chargers had a really good offensive day today, but I genuinely feel like they're just scratching the surface of what this could be. This has the potential to be a top 5 offense in the NFL. No doubt about it. Obviously, they're not there yet because of the lack of red zone efficiency, lack of points in those first 2 games. A couple, fluky turnovers, like I mentioned earlier. But with the talent they have, with the way Justin Herbert is playing, with the way they're protecting up front outside of Storm Norton, they have everything they need to be an elite offense in this league. And they have the aggressive mentality, right, from the head coach and from the offensive coordinator. So we'll see where this goes. It could be going to great heights because you think about where they're at, right? Justin Herbert is only going to get better. That's it. This is not anywhere close to how good he's going to be. That's what blows my mind, right? This dude in the summer of last year was learning how to take snaps under center. He was learning how to open his body correctly to hand the ball off. He was learning how to make his play action fakes and his handoffs look similar. He was learning the basics of the position. A little over a year ago. Now he's obviously moved on to higher level stuff, right? but he is really, really just scratching the surface of what he could be. And because he's just scratching the surface, this offense is just scratching the surface. How much better can he and Mike Williams get? How much better can he and Keenan Allen get? How much better can he and Jared Cook get? They haven't played that much together, right? How much better is this offensive line going to get as they play more together? It's still so early. This group has not played a lot of football together, but they have the talent, and the aggressive mindset from the coaching staff is there. So I agree. I mean, I don't know if I want to put a percentage on it, but they're certainly not at 100%, right, of what they're capable of. And I think when push comes to shove at the end of the season, they are absolutely going to be a top 10 offense and maybe even a top 5 offense. And on that note, cheers, folks. I appreciate everyone joining. Make sure to go read my takeaways on The Athletic. I didn't get posted in time for me to put them in the description here, but theathletic.com/team/Chargers. They're on my Twitter. Go check that out because this is maybe 40% of the detail that I have in there in terms of my recap and my takeaways. As far as what's coming, I'll have my final thoughts. We'll talk to Staley tomorrow, and I'll do a wrap on the game. That'll publish sometime Tuesday, likely. And then we'll have a film review. I like that idea of doing the Nas Adderley film review. So maybe we'll do that, focus it on sort of how they kept the roof on the coverage against Mahomes, and focus it on Nas Adderley and how he's growing, because I think that's a pretty big storyline. And then obviously Friday mailbag, and then Monday Night Football. Chargers, Raiders. As the great Chris Hayre tweeted, the first time the Raiders and Chargers are playing each other in a matchup where both teams are over 500 since December 8th, 2002. I was 9 years old. So it's been quite a while since we've had a matchup like that. It's going to be a great atmosphere, all right? It's going to be great. Will there be a lot of Raiders fans there? Hell yeah, there will be a lot of Raiders fans there. Will there be a lot of Chargers fans there? Hell yeah, there will be a lot of Chargers fans there. It's going to be buzzing. It's going to be great. Chargers are 2-1. Huge win over the Chiefs. Hard not to get excited about this team. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.